Hello there, and welcome to another video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. It's Sam with another quick writing update. I do say quick because I mean this to be quick. I know sometimes quick is like 20 minutes for these, but I'm gonna try to avoid that. Be quicker than that because I'm on a shorter break today. I wanted to give an update of how my writing goals are going, and hopefully this will also encourage you to keep working on your writing goals and hopefully it'll be a little bit meaningful to some of you as well. So where do I start? Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm trying to see if I can share my screen on Facebook Live. And I've used this feature before, or I've been using this tool before, but not share my screen usually. Usually do that on Zoom. Anyway, if you're listening to the podcast of this or the audio file after the fact, which I'll probably publish on the podcast later, then of course sharing the screen won't be relevant to you. So I'll just skip that part for now. But I have open in front of me a document titled Book One Master Doc, and it's got about 167,000 words to be precise. 167,660 is the current count, which sounds like a lot. It's actually a victory right for me right now, or a step toward victory, because I'm actually trying to get the word count down to a certain amount. Let me tell you about that. So I mentioned a while back, if you've been following my video series or listening to these episodes or whatever, a while back, like in June. So June. It's now October again. That's when I'm filming this originally. If you're listening to the audio file later, it could be even later. June to October, so 4 months ago, I mentioned I was gonna pitch my book to a couple of literary agents, give them my premise and things like that. That was actually my birthday weekend, so funny how that worked out. I did an episode about about turning 31 and how I was doing things I'd never done before with pitching my book to agents and things like that. And I didn't publicly tell everyone how that went or anything because I still don't. Yeah, I mean, spoilers. I still don't have anything concrete. I would say I have a possible lead. It's not like I got an instant book deal right away or anything. So I didn't want to get everyone's hopes up with something that still wasn't definite. So I didn't publicly announce how that went. But here's what happened. I did speak to two literary agents. This was again a few months ago. One of them didn't really seem interested in superhero novels for adults, which is fine. It's not everyone's cup of tea. One of them was intrigued by the premise. I've been calling it like a superhero story for broken people because it's about realistic characters. Fractured Heroes is the title. She was intrigued by the premise, but concerned about the word count, understandably, because I know I'm way too wordy and I've got a lot going on here. Um, it was close to 200,000 words. My original draft, if I kept everything I wanted to, was about 193,000. Um, so that agent was intrigued by the premise and concerned about the word count. She told me get the word count down to around 125,000 was the goal. 125,000, and pitch to her again is what she said when I'm ready. So my current goal, I'm kind of dragging my feet. It's been going slowly, but I am trying to cut this down from 193,000 where it was to 125,000 eventually. I'm currently at 167,000, which is maybe like a little under halfway. So I still got some work to do, but that's a victory for me. So baby steps, small progress, call it what you want. And I reached the point in my life or in my writing career where it's easier to write more and harder to be concise. And so trimming and cutting down is actually a mark of progress. But that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get it down to a certain length. And my goal is roughly by the end of the year. Maybe, so it's October now, so maybe by December, have it ready. I need to go through my whole book again and probably look at more things I can cut out. But that's a step for another time. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. That's what we're going to be doing soon. That's my goal. And I guess I'd say I'm working toward it. I mean, I'm still, it's still not like I'm published yet, or like, even like I have a promise. I mean, she just said like pitch to her again. It's not a guarantee that once I hit 125,000, it's going to be magically published. But I have a hope. I have, someone who's potentially interested, and a lead I can leverage there. So that's good news for me. Hopefully, exciting news for some of you who are fans who have been following this, and just an encouragement to keep working at your writing, your editing, your goals. Keep making things work, and take the opportunities you have, the ones that are given to you, even when you have to work at it, even when you have to um, change things and stretch things, and it's difficult to meet certain requirements. It's often worth it. Keep at it. Is what I'm saying. I mean, I'm saying that to myself too, because I'm still in this process, but I'm working at that. Just a side note, I want to answer a couple questions that are in my head about like that I told a little bit before. I have told people about it. I didn't make it public to my whole fan base, but I've told like my friends who asked like how the agent meetings went. I told them some of this. So I'll answer a couple questions that people have had about that. First of all, isn't there a market for like really big books, like fantasy, sci-fi? I mean, not every book can be that long, but we've all seen like The Wheel of Time, which has 14 volumes of 700 pages each, or something like that. There's Dune, and there's Jim Butcher and stuff like that. Yes, I kind of ask myself those same questions, and I don't remember now if we specifically mentioned those when I talked to the agent, but kind of the idea that's out there is those authors have hit it big. Someone like Robert Jordan or Brandon Sanderson, who's now taken over for him, or Stephen King or Jim Butcher. They're able to write those big books and have an audience because people know who they are, and because they've been successful already, and they now have a fan base who will read anything and everything they put out. Spoiler warning: I am not Stephen King or Jim Butcher or Brandon Sanderson. I am not that known yet. So, for a debut novel, it sounds like I think the agent I talked to did say like for a debut novel, 125 is around the target. I am hoping if people like it, if I succeed, I can go a little longer in the future. Who knows? But we'll see. And you might also be asking, why is your book so long? 200,000 words, or nearly 200,000. That was so long. Good question. If you haven't heard much of the story yet, or if you've only heard bits and pieces, the reason it's so long, or I guess one reason, is flashbacks and origin stories. I have it's about superheroes. It's an ensemble cast. It is kind of about them coming together. Like and learning to work as a team and to overcome their challenges together. I might compare it to the Avengers or the X-Men or something like that. But because these are like my original characters, and I wanted to develop them, I also included backstories, like interspersed with the main story. I have chapters of everyone's origin story and flashbacks, and those are taking up space. And one of my beta readers said, "This is good, but it's all good stuff, but it's long and it's just kind of exhausting. It's like if you watched like all the Marvel origin movies and the Avengers in one movie, like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and the Avengers movie all rolled into one." And I'm like, yeah, I see what you mean. That is kind of long, more than what most readers bargained for. So I've tried to claim some of the backstory. I mean, there's some that I think is essential because it's for character development and for things like that. But some of it I've cut. One of my chapters, it was the origin story of Frostburn and Lady Light. You may have heard me talk about them. It was gonna be toward the end of the book, and I couldn't really find a good place for it because it seemed like it was interrupting the action. I decided just to scrap that chapter from book one. Hopefully, if people are still curious with their origin, they can put it in book two. But I was just like, it's not essential right now. And they're kind of, yes, I create them as main characters, but it's an ensemble cast. They're kind of my secondary male and female leads. Miracle and Ruby are really the ones who are the main leads for me, and I do focus more on their origins. And like Frostburn and Lady Light, we can get into theirs a little later. Hopefully, in book two, I can focus on them a little bit more. And if I do publish book one successfully, I mean, this is way down the road. Maybe book two will have more leeway there. I can put in a little bit more to that. But I was just like, I don't want to bog everyone down with too many flashbacks. I've already got probably more than I should, and I've had to cut some of them. And so yeah, I've cut some of those. I cut a few other scenes that I liked but weren't doing anything, or they weren't. Again, they were flashbacks or origin stories, or they were maybe good for character development, but they weren't really advancing the plot. I cut a few of those. So basically, this document you see in front of me, or that I see in front of me, that I tried to share my screen and I couldn't. There's 167 down from 193. It's been cut down, but it's 26,000 words fewer than it was. That was from me cutting out whole scenes and whole chapters in some cases that I didn't think were necessary, or that I eventually, after a grueling, mental battle of having to kill your darlings, as they say, I decided those were not necessary. Probably could cut even a few more. I haven't wanted to yet, but maybe by the end I will. We'll see. That was just from cutting whole scenes. I'm mostly going to have to go through and do line edits too, like just cut wordiness from the whole book. So I did the math. If I cut out 100 words a page, which is a lot in some cases, but if I just with me being wordy and writing a lot of prose and such, if I cut out 100 words per page, then I can probably get the word count down close to where I wanted to, because there's currently in this Word document or this Google Doc, it's about 340 pages. So is that right? That's right, 100 words per page. Yeah. So if that would be cutting out 34,000 words, or 3,400. You know what? I'm not a math guy. I did the math at one point. Anyway, point is, I'm gonna have to, between now and hopefully December, I'm gonna go through book one more time, which I'm a little tired of because I've edited it a lot already, and this is at least my third or fourth revision in recent years. I'm not sure, and hopefully the last one for a while, and cut out what I can, and try to get the whole thing down to a more acceptable length. The last thing was someone or multiple books suggested maybe why not divide it into two books. If you have 200,000 words already, why not divide it into two books? Put the backstories in one chapter, in one volume. Put the main story, the present, in one volume. I could do that. I could divide it up into two books. I've been a little reluctant to, because I originally envisioned it as one. I envisioned it as coming in with the first volume. The reader comes into the action in media res, and gradually fill in the backstory. If I divide them up into volumes, I feel like the backstory would all be in one, all one volume. I don't know if it would be as exciting, like the readers don't care about the characters yet. So it's an option I'll consider if I can't find any other options. But my original goal is to take it all down to one volume, and just one volume of around 125,000, and publish then. And actually, a couple more notes, and then I'm done. The things I've cut, I have kept. I didn't just entirely delete them. I have them in old documents and stuff. So this is way in the future. It may never happen. But if I ever get this series going and people want more, I can publish them like a short story anthology or like a collection of like outtakes and something like that, so people can see, I guess, my fully realized vision of these characters and their development, even from the scenes that weren't that important. The other thing I noticed, I was like, book one was way long, like 200,000 words or close to it. But I have a full draft of book two. Again, I haven't published it, obviously. But book two is already more like 125,000 words. It is a more manageable length. That's partially because over time I've become better as a writer. I've become more focused and more concise as a writer. Also because book two didn't have to tell all the backstory that was told in book one. So it really is a more. So what I'm saying is, like, I didn't want all the books to be this huge length of nearly 200,000 words. So if I can trim down book one into more like 125,000, it'll fit better with the rest of the series, at least the rest that I've envisioned, to a more manageable length. So we'll see about that. Anyway, that's my update right now. I'm in still what I call editing in purgatory, but I have a goal in sight to work toward. Hopefully, by the end of the year, I will have a better draft and I can start pitching again. Maybe 2022, I can really, really double down on submitting again to that one agent and to others. We'll see. No guarantees yet. If you're trying to get published, it's a long, long road. Some of you know this. I am a little further than I was before, but still by no means near the end. Just want to give you an update and encourage you, whatever you're doing to in the writing world, keep working on it and keep doing your best. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening and being here and being interested. Keep reading, writing, and rocking. This is Sam signing off. Bye.